Welcome back. Lesson 28. We're going to continue working with the scene. Let's get started. Let's just going to check another thing here with the scene. At this point, we have some rain coming over in that. Now, John's in front of any mask, so that keeps his character nice and bright. And it looks like the cart maybe too gets a little darkened when it gets dark out, but lightens up again, which is good. Okay, so there are other options too, like perhaps playing with shadows that come across the walkways and that. They get dark, and I think I'm okay with that for now. Yeah, so the cloud now comes in and it darkens off over the top of the solar panels. You really get that. So with just mask highlighted, even that, I can come in now over it and roll my mouse. So, but I'm going to count how many clicks so I can put it back. But I'm going to roll it away from me one click, just the mouse wheel. And you can see that layers now move forward one more. And it's making the cloud actually dark as well. And I really wanted that. Okay, so now before I go too far, I'm just going to roll back out of here. Okay. So the mask is still highlighted, and then I'm going to roll the mouse away from me, but I wanted to go to frame 0, and I'm just going to roll one click away from me. You might have seen it flash there. Now we'll come in, look. Okay, and the cloud's now coming in without it being bright white. And John still appears to brighten up more when the rays come in. He's still kind of the cart's kind of in front of the cloud. The sign now goes that way. So if I wanted to do one more click forward just to see it, I'm going to now put the frame to 0, and now I've just roll one more click. Now if I want to keep that position, you can see the cart now is gone dark. And then it really goes dark. We'd have to play with that if we wanted to get that cloud to still be dark. I don't want it to flash dark and light. Well, this is a whole nother cloud coming in here. One is traveling over, and the second cloud's actually dumping the rain. Okay, so I'm going to go back to frame 0, and I'm just going to move this mass. I'm still going to roll the wheel one more, and that's moving this black mass forward layer after layer. Okay, so now it coming in, turning dark early. If it stays dark, cool. So we'll go right to where the frame turns bright again, and I'm now just rolling my mouse one click forward. I think I had to be up here to do that. There one click. And now let's just scroll here the timeline with. There it is. There's the next one. As soon as it turns bright, then I'll come up in the screen and go one click forward. There it goes. All right, let's see if we can drag and look for a flash. If we don't see any flashes, we're good to go. All right, so let's see where there was another little flash in the beginning, I do believe. Yeah. So here I'm just going to roll forward and hope I don't mess up anything in the rest of it. Seems to be good. Just got to get. Okay, I think it has a little flash in the early. It's not even coming into the scene until it touches this line. So, but when I zoom or something, then it can very well come into the scene more. So, right. And then this cloud can be much lighter. It's kind of just a little rain cloud, and it can also be increased in darkness by moving the mask over the top of it. But that could be after a save, and when I really want to create just a different thing going on, I can start creating pieces. Okay, so the other thing is we use the puppet, and somewhere right in here we lost the mouth. Yeah, it looks like I need to take him into the head to the head part of it and editor and perhaps do a little work on his mouth. Okay, so we have him highlighted. Let's take him now to composer mode. Say we click on the head. See what we got here. Bone editor, sprite editor, facial animation setup, and the 360 head creator. Let's do the facial animation setup here. All right. So we really just have a cartoon mouth here. Let's see what we do. This is how you correct anomalies with the mouth. Okay. So I set up most of these and certainly not all of them. Yeah, and I can see where I didn't do a bunch of these expressions. So these are all of the expressions that he can make. And I can pretty much adjust each one of them to be what I want. So you kind of see that you're looking for this, and so you make him do that. And you can make him do it however you want. And we'll go to the next one. And I like the expressions that he makes, so I don't want to get too different from what I had. So I just simply adjust a little bit. And as you can see, this is a curved down look. And he's really not doing that. So let's see if we can make that happen. So I take my time through this section and just go one by one through each one and adjust the mouth as best I can to the example that they show above. And then after that, I move on to the eyebrows and the eyes and the nose and the mouth features over on the right side. And so this is pretty simple and self-explanatory. You just move the little webs around until you kind of get the shapes that you're looking for. Um, the only thing that I think that in a do-over is I'm going to go back in and widen his mouth. I think I made it a little too narrow in some of the examples, and so I'll go back later and change that. All right, let's go on back to the stage now. And I'm going to want to save this too. I'm going to keep moving this forward to 9. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have that ruined face anymore. But we're not getting the full face control that way. I'm going to look at some of these other. So this is him making disappointed faces now. And they're good. Happy with those. This is O faces. Ooh. Eee. Okay, so that's kind of, those are his O faces now. So his mouth is improved, but I'm not really thrilled that um, he hardly smiles now. They're just little, so I will have to go stretch back his mouth into much more of a smiley guy. But yeah, now see that? Look at those expressions he can do. The, oh my God, looks. That's going to be hilarious. So this is super cool. Okay, and there's some smiles. This is the normal face control here. So they call that one smiley and this one general. So general is kind of a mix of facial expressions. There's more of that angry by flipping the mouse down and then flipping it up. He's more closed mouth with general. Okay, when I flip the mouse around. When you get into sad, you can come on down and get those real worried looks, looking at the sky. Yeah. Okay, so you can see where you can play with these presets. This is supposed to be happy though, and happy's not coming through to me. Not the same as normal. Flip up and it's still O, O. Lots of O's. Okay. He has a nice smile, but when I do any reaction, it's still just lots of not super happy, gleeful like I was getting before. So I'm gonna have to go through and figure out which one of those is making that make the mouth bigger and stretch them more into the smile like I had, and don't try to nail as many expressions. But anyway, that's kind of cool. And then we'll figure that one out. And then here's scared. These can be pretty funny too. Ah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Perfect. Okay, so it's just the one. Smiley's not bad, but this one here, his mouth isn't wide enough now right there that you're not seeing him crack the normal smile. That's the one I need to fix right there. Okay, cool. Go in and do fine tune that. Okay, well, I'm going to click on this 361 and see here too what we have going on. So here's his different facial expressions when he has his head moved. Okay, and I'm on eyebrow. And so it's as easy as that to fix a part, but I'm not seeing which one I'm selecting here. There we go. So this is allows you to put it around his face, but not necessarily change the expression. So I pretty much have already done this with John then, and it looks like I've done all of that correctly. So deforming it though would be being able to maybe do more. So more always smiling. That's what I'm looking for. Want him to look like a really happy guy. So pretty much if it looks natural to you, then it is, and that's about what your goal is here, to have each one of these expressions when he's looking in a different direction look realistic. Yeah, and I'm just able to get more more of a natural smile this way. Just generally happy guy. Cool. All right, and then these are his downward looks where we really were not seeing that smile so much, as much. Okay. There we go. Okay. So yeah, way too many expressions are just him looking like he's off in La La Land instead of being generally happy. So this is cool to kind of need more space here. Kind of grow that face more. Let's see. This is here. All right. I think that's going to be about it. And I'm going to save him again. And I'm going to just keep progressing him. In case I've done something that I really didn't like and I didn't realize it. I can still go back and load in. And right, so back to stage mode we'll go. And I'm going to just click on John again here, and we'll go ahead and save this project as well. Stay on number 9, and then let's go ahead now with the face puppet and just check his smiley or happy, they call this one. Yeah, much more. Oh yeah. All right, and then back to happy. Yeah, nice. All right. Yeah, he's gonna have some really super cool expressions now. So many more are working with him now. Here's O, so he can go off into the teeth, and then the O. Yeah, super cute. Okay, sad. Just one more time. Gonna see what I got going here. Not sure how I got the target right over the top. I might have done that myself. Okay, and then blinking. Can't forget to blink him. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Can have a lot of fun with these facial expressions now. Um, once you get the mouth dialed in like that, he's going to do so many more cool things. And I can still go in. We did quite a bit better here, but I think I know that there's a couple ones that where the mouth is small. And so then when he turns his head into those certain looks, if his mouth size is too small, then he can't stretch his mouth open far enough. So some places where he's got a closed mouth smile, you see he's got plenty of mouth. And then I jerk up the mouse into one of his open mouth smiles, and that's where he's still more of an O, but now I've made it better. So once I make the size of that, stretch it out further across his face, that was where I'd kind of taken a little of that away. And I think that's where we still don't have the full smile he was doing before. So I'm going to go in and just make that change. I think you've seen enough of playing with the calibration, and you're going to tweak your character like that in order to get it just right. So go ahead here and do a little puppet show. Let's do this again here, and let's go happy and record. Okay, and then, okay, so now I can still just send a little movie out, but let's go ahead and at least see that much of John's water flow. Let's double check that it's going to look like it's coming out his gun. Good. Okay, so now I can come in here and just do this little mini movie. And this is, I like to do a lot of this. And then when I take it to editing, I can just go in and have these different shots, like little mini movies. And I don't necessarily have to think out every single scene. All right, so I want to just start making a collection of John. So pretty much this is how I'll roll with the scene, and I'm going to work through certain details and almost rough draft. And then if I like what I'm seeing, then I can go back in and make the perfection to these. But I needed to know that the gun would operate, and I could really pull off realistic water and stuff like that. And so kind of a process of learning what I can do and then working within that, or what can I create. So let's take a quick look at this now. So on the close-up, you can see that the water squirts a little unnaturally out of the gun, so I have to adjust that. And now you can really see on close-up, you can see where the hands are drawn on, but they don't go up the sleeve. There's no fingertips and a lot of stuff that I didn't even know how to do. So when I do take this pressure washing wand back, I'll start from scratch and create my own and draw the hands and literally draw the nubs so that they'll go up into the sleeve, and that'll make a perfect match. So real good. And just pulling the water out of the front there a little bit would also fix that. Go to frame 2. They don't always like to be selected. And it just, now that it's close up, you can really see how that was kind of shoved up in there a little too high. Okay. Now, with this water pipe visible, there's the motion sprite. And it's these transformation links where I moved it. So if you zoom in, then we've gotten this first one, and okay, let's render that one more time. And first, let's save all this here. And now we'll render that one more time. And we'll go over the top of that to get a clean recording. And then I think before I go further, I'm going to go ahead and create the pressure washing hose. And also, we'll go ahead and fix his hands. So, yeah, much better. I mean, it kind of goes down to squirting, but it is what it is. I can wanted to thin that stream down anyway. When I actually go and create a movie, I will. I'll thin it down. Even the fast stream's a little too fat. So, okay, that's it for now. Getting a mile of video here. Okay, so I am going to scram on down here in size. Kind of reposition John in the scene more. He's outside of that tree, more visible. And let's see if everything came with. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we have this, and we've got his vehicle here. We need to have a pressure washing hose that'll just kind of come off the machine, off of this, and it's going to drop down and come around him and up into his gun. So we'll create a hose next, and then we're also going to take his wand as well to Krita and work with it there and fix it. So that's coming up next here. I'm going to get Krita open and ready to go and kind of think about what I'm going to want for the hose. We should be able to use a little tool here to draw a really easy, simple hose and then bring it to back to Cartoon Animator and put bones in it so that it can actually be movable and everything. We can attach it to the end of the gun so that he can drag around when he moves. And maybe I didn't even do the hands. It looks like they came on the picture here. And to give credit where credit's due, all of the dashboard was a picture from Pixabay. This is the picture, black and white, with some writing and stuff on it. And I took off the writing and took off the needles and recreated the needles so that we had, an empty background and could move these needles onto it. So when it was in Cartoon Animator, it would actually, the needles would move. There's our needle group. Okay, my grandson drew the slug. And we took it and removed the background, colored it, and I also animated it and can run it around the screen and stuff. And here's our dress project, our boots project, our jacket project. Okay. So let's go ahead and take the wand here, which I also got from Pixabay. So it might be best just to convert things to shape. That seems to be the good way to change things here. So then with vector tools, I can edit the lines and everything. So to do that, I can just grab certain things like the hand group. Hitting the shift key allows me to bring all three hand groups as one shape. And then we'll just try that and see how that goes. And then we'll come back down to background, and we still have the contingent selection tool on, and we'll collect the blue here. And this should give the whole pressure washing wand. And I'm going to right click and convert it to shape. Okay. So now you can look here, highlight the layers. You see there's the hands and there's the wand. Okay. And so if I just go ahead and turn off these first two items, then we have just the outline to work with. I'll come over here, and as you can see, nothing happens because we are still on a selection tool. Now that we've moved on to vector layers, you have to move on up into the vector tools. Right, so if you select any shape now by clicking on this, you still, the only thing I can select would be the shape of the pressure washing wand. Okay, when I click on the first vector layer, you'll remember that that was the shape of the hands, and then they can be selected. All right, so under tools and line, right now the line is blue. We'll move the line to black. I'm going to move the line to 2 pixels so you could really see it. You zoom out. Okay, now just did that so you could see it. I'm going to turn it on back to 1 pixel. And I'm going to now remove the line completely. And now I'm going to come over to this fill bucket, and we're going to only put in the skin color that we want here. So we'll pick our color, and I'll just go for the unbleached silk. And I'm going to come here now and go to this next layer, which is the pressure washing wand. Now we're already selected, so we can go straight to the line tool and shut it off. And go to the fill bucket, and let's choose a color for our wand. Okay. Okay, so now under the advanced color selector, I just switched over. I'm able to get into the color wheel, which could allow me to get maybe a little different of something that I want. It's kind of black, kind of blue, kind of cool. Okay. Now if I come back down on these hands, um, we can just go ahead, and you can see that we have what's visible here is just exactly what we're going to select now. We're going to click this little arrow on the bottom side. I'll turn on the highlighter, make it a little easier to see where I'm at. And here we make a new layer from visible. So it's going to make a new layer from this, right? And now, if I want to, though, I really like using the vector tool. So now that this is a shape, I can come in and use the edit shape tool. I think for my purposes, I just wanted to not move anything here. Let me unclick that because I just simply want to move these back just a little bit and round the corner a little bit. And that's really my only intention with that. Have it be a little more rounded. The edit shape, here's the corner point, and when I clicked on it, it gave me just that, so that I can, and you can see the color change, ever so slight, but so this allows you to nub off, round off the corner, okay, which is what was my goal, round off the corner there, okay, and it may not seem like much, but that was just a sharp edge there, and the hand isn't going to be sharp like that. Other than that, I could kind of live with this one. And on this side, we're going to draw now just with the line tool or even the curve tool, the Bezier curve. And we're just going to start right here. Well, that one was small. Not so sure I got it. Might have been too small. I just erased it. Okay, so edit. Move, I mean. Move, move. Here we go. So here where I have so much room, we'll now divide these into little fingers and maybe see what we got. The bigger you get, the more accurate you can be with where the lines are. So let's take a look at that. You can see how just stretching it, you can come right out to the edge like that. Got a lot of control with these. Okay, so let's take a look here. And now the line is 1 pixel. So there again, we can zoom in on these. And I'll hit the shift key to grab all of them. And then you can make the correction all at once. You saw that slide just a little bit. I'm going to push it right back. All right, so if I click on the line, it's at 1 pixel, and I can make it bigger. But 1 pixel is as small as you get to go here. And I would maybe make this line more of a darker skin tone highlight if I can. I don't know that black is as appropriate as just getting a kind of a shadow line. I think that's the same color there. How about that? Okay, I could live with that. What would be the trickiest now is to make the arm nub. And I could attempt to do that. So the easiest way would be to make a paint layer so that I don't necessarily have to go over and then with the skin color and a pretty good size brush, and come over here. I'm holding the space bar down, and I really hesitate to do. I'm not a good enough artist. Uh, Hesitate to try to draw the fingers. Maybe if I brought in some example art from someone, that would be good. Otherwise, it's kind of rough here for me. I'm gonna fix the pixel here too by editing the shape. But remember, we got to go back to the vector layer to actually make a change on that and just take that corner off. So sharp. Okay, and then let's go back to selection. I'll hold the space bar, make it a little smaller here. Now this one, to make a hand on it, we'll go back to the paint layer and I'll take that brush back up in size. Maybe get my work bigger. Okay, so here's where we're at. I would guess I could go a pretty good sized nub here because he's got sleeves. And I just got to be careful I don't make it so big. I can always come back and fix this stuff. So, okay, I'm gonna give that a go and see where we're at. And so this will be basically whatever's showing is what gets saved. I'm gonna save this. This is now number 2. So I'm gonna now open up a new image, I think. Go ahead and get ready to make this pressure washing hose. And we're just going to make the height about 200 and the width about 800. I just want a transparent background, so I've gone ahead and unlocked it, thrown it away, and now it's left me just with a transparent background. And rather than painting, we are going to just go ahead and add a vector layer. Okay, and now I'll just even take this one and get rid of it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is use the curve tool, and I'll start a point, and I'll keep it straight as I can, and then I'm going to drag it and make it curve. And then when I let go, it's going to go ahead and let it curve. And so I'll click, drag it, and let it curve. And I'll drag it. So let's say our pressure washer was there and it comes down on the cement, comes around and curls around John or something like that. Okay. So with the edit shape tool, I can pretty much do whatever I want to make it all work. So if I need to add a point, I'll just go right here and make a line point. Or I can remove a point, make a curve point. So it's got so much flexibility for me. Okay, so I can just keep on going with this and then, line it up for John to have his pressure washing hose. So here I can just simply say make a curve point, and I can go ahead and round this hose off if I didn't draw it quite how I wanted it, or if I've got a kink in the hose. Pretty much allows me to start over and do it right. Pressure washing hose is just pretty much like that. It's not kinked and it doesn't have any sharp edges, so neither should this. So by just pulling these out a little bit, it helps exaggerate those corners and make them a little more rounded, smoother. All right. Okay, so ultimately I'm going to have to come back around John, I believe. And let's see here. I just double clicked and added another point so that perhaps I can be moving things more around John. Okay, so then let's add another point here. See then if we can keep going with the line. And this is how I could build, if I didn't create a long enough hose for John, and it's going to be a little trial and error because you're kind of working blind. Then you can bring it to your actor. So it'd probably be easier for me to create something even on the gun that would look like it's wrapping around John all the time. But let's try with what we have here. Get the select tool and then look for any anomalies. Okay, and then also this allows growth, shrinkage, stretching. So the ability to change by that way and then shaping by this way. So, okay. Now I put in a curve point there and I probably put it right over the top of another point. So let's just double check by deleting it. I did. And yet it already has its own set of curve tools. So that's where that rough line came in. I accidentally added a point over another point. Okay, so it's looking pretty snazzy. And you can see, I'm just going to say save as at this point, and then we'll kind of see where we're at with it, with the character and fitting, all the pressure washing hose. All right, let's go see what it looks like in Cartoon Animator. So create media props, and let's look for it, and whenever it's not there, then just know that Krita got you again. So file, save as, and we didn't even save it. We just saved well, there it is. Did I miss it? No, I did put it in the right folder. I missed it. Okay, sorry. Create media props, and we can take a look and see if we got something. So to get to the gun, flip it to the ground maybe, flip it, flip, flip, flip. Vertical flip. Preview. Okay, so yeah, I hadn't realized, of course, he's on light cement for his first job. That's about the color of my hose, too. It's not like it has to be super visible. But yeah, so pretty much I would have to figure out a way to connect that. What might be easier, just keep working his hose and make it come up. Boy, getting two connections to line up, that's going to be a fun one. See if I can find it here. All right, so let's just look really quick what we can do. We can, of course, size it. We can move it in front of John and up to the gun. But that would be like him shooting right over the top of the water bubble, so should be behind him. Just thinking out loud. So it would kind of pretend go into the gun like that. You'd see the hose behind him, so that's all cool. So back in Krita, and it saved it as a Krita. Did it save? Yes, it saved the simple edit points. Good. Okay, so let's work off of this one, and we're going to flip it like we talked about. Oops, not that way. So that was hitting the transform key, right clicking, and mirror vertical. Okay, and then we'll go to the edit. And so this was way off. I'm going to add a point. We're going to stretch this way. We're going to stretch this way. Stretch this quite a ways down, I think we said. And then it needed to come up, Add a point, come up, and go in. All right, I'm not going to know until I try. So this is this is the one that, thank goodness it saved it. And why I said always make sure you keep that always save as a Krita document, because this has the original points to edit. Okay, so we won't close this, but we will save as. We can save this Krita file here now and then say save as and just make PNGs from this. Okay, so this will be pressure washing hose now. Two. All right. Cartoon Animator, we will go back to stage mode here. You can free to just take off that, and it just deleted it from the project too. And then create media props until I save it as a custom image. It's not keeping track of it. Here's this. Okay, we got the hose really close to John, but that'll work. This has come up in the air, so it has to be all drawn in tighter. It's a long ways up, so that's kind of what I thought. It has to come up above, much higher than it is, much higher than the canvas is allowing. You're going to have to make the canvas bigger, but draw stuff down towards the bottom and then bring it up. All right. Okay, so now we'll just go straight to Krita and try to remember what we just said. We would draw stuff closer and tighter, more like the hose is coiled. Everything looked pretty good. Okay, save as. Make this number 3. Cartoon Animator, create media props. Now I'm going to see if it'll go right over the top of the other one. Nope, it just put in a new one, so take this one out. Getting close. Okay, so if I can widen that, it comes onto the cement. And lower that so I can keep it further behind John. pull that over and tighter. And that down. Okay, got all that. Okay, so this will be number 4. Back to Cartoon Animator, create, media, props, and we'll grab number 4 here. And we'll take out number 3. Let's see what he looks like. Just all right. Here goes a preview. I made a new black hose, and I've gone ahead and tilted it up under his hand, and that hides it really well. In the future, I'm going to shorten the hose and try to feed it into the machine going right here and move this machine down and in. So let's create media props, and we want 1, 2. Now this has the arm inserts, and so that will be kind of fun to install on John. So his hose looks good till, I'm never going to zoom in like this on him. He'll be out a little ways, so that should be just fine. I like the way it's hiding it. Not even sure. Guess I'm seeing a little bit of the old gun, of course. That's what I'm seeing. So let's see if we can click these pictures big like this. Yeah, it didn't mind selecting that. So this would be one, number 2, and the goal is to resize it until it's just perfectly matched. I can bring it up over the top now by just rolling away from me. Make it the dominant gun here. And keep moving it into place. FFD motion key editor. Okay, so you hit this bone display here, and then you got an option to show the bone, and I'm not quite sure why you'd ever want it on 40. But there's that, and so you have an opportunity to even just move the hand. Don't even have to move the arm. And then there's also stretch bone, which would allow me to have a little leeway in stretching his bone. See how it'll let me. No, it's not like a cartoon, you know. It's almost as if I'm working with animation. But that's kind of neat, right? That's how they do some of those tricks. Now, the idea here was that I would just take off the hand that's already there. I'm having a really hard time controlling. So I'll just take a different approach here with this controller. Now he's really blown up, and this whole thing might change. I'm going to take him out of this really super blown up view, but and then I'll adjust the water if I have to too. Oops, I rolled him one, and I didn't mean to. Okay, so now I'm going to hit this again and come out of this extreme close up, move him over. Uh-oh, we got it playing and everything now. Okay, so let's see how it would look here with his wrist is adjusting. I don't see any huge anomaly with that. It's okay. I like his new gun better. So this is worth it, even though I'm doing a lot just to kind of build a scene that I was planning on changing anyway. But I'll create a scene out of this. I'll get plenty of mileage out of this one scene. Just can create so many different varieties of scenarios with this. So that's what I'll be doing, creating a lot of different scenarios. Okay, so move him in. I think that's it. Water stops moving at that point even. All right, I'm going to stop fussing on this for a little bit, and I'm going to close this, save everything. Okay, so just one more thing to go back to now that the water stream is in place. And we fixed this one really easy. We put the water stream in front. Of the hose. So we're going to do that again. The water pipe is highlighted. We'll go back to the beginning. And now I'm just going to roll the mouse. And I'm going to zoom in on this transformation here. And I'm going to roll the mouse here. One click away from me while my little plus thing is going on. Okay, and you see the water go in front. All right, and pretty much every transition is where it changes. I've discovered to where you can save a little time by just clicking on those instead of scrolling through blindly. And we're done. Water's in front of the hose. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, didn't quite get the water stream. It goes behind the hose still a little bit. I must have had more frames to do. Pretty close. A little anomaly on the water. I like his facial expressions. All right, I brought the hose into composer mode and I wanted to see if I could do something easily with the bone editor first. But let's just add our first bone. And I'm going to click on through here. That I can move this hose around. Okay, so now I'm going to right click here and end that connection, and there's all the bones now have been added in. Okay, that's good for me. The rest can go into the pipe. All right, so now I have a hose with bones in it. If I were to insert a child bone, then I just made that chain a little, having a few more bones in it, or one more bone in it. Okay, and I could have added more child bones, but that's good. I just didn't want that to be too big of a space in between. So now let's go ahead and go right to the spring editor. And all I'm going to do is just assign to group um, this, and all those bones come in. Okay. And so unless I say I don't want one, they all come in. And I'm going to preview. Okay, and it's quite a mess. So let's turn the bounciness down to 10, and you'll see that it's very, very slow now. Maybe more like something that just got some water thrown through it. Has a little movement. He drags, he turns it on, and a little bit of movement, and I could have the hose looking like something. Okay, now this is just a preview, and it's actually making the whole entire thing move. So now I'm going to put it on a different preset and preview it. And that happens very fast. And now I'll turn the bounciness down, and the movement's very slow and deliberate. So I'm going to have to decide kind of what I'd like to see and still have it. The whole hose can move now, and that could look pretty cool as an effect. if I have plenty of room going into the pipe and it can still pull out a little bit and appear to have the hose move when he does, I think that's going to be a great effect. So I'm going to go with this 80% bounciness, and I'm on fast, so it's going to happen pretty quick. At this point, let's go back to stage mode with the hose, and now I'm going to click on it again and click on my content, click on custom, and you'll see it successfully imported 2 items into my custom, but that doesn't mean that it just put what I just created in. So I'll close this for a little more space, and you'll see now there's the save button, but it's changed to what it's highlighted on. Let's go back and click my hose again, and I'm in custom, and I'm going to click save. And if I did everything right, it's going to want to save it as a prop. And so now I'm going to call this the PW hose. And this is a custom item now in my props. Anytime I want to grab the hose, it's right here. Now it shot a picture of everything because that's what I gave it. I'd have to take off the background and, get a shot centered in order to have it just be the hose. But we know what it is. So there we go. And now that that's in here, let's see. It's not attached to John, so when he moves, it's still independent of him. So if I want to get some movement out of the deal, I'm going to have to either move the hose to make it appear like it's moving, which was kind of my plan. Um, so now I might have a little more flexibility with this hose itself. For instance, now here we are, we're going to go to frame 1, and John starts to move. I know that I can use these deformity mode too to move things around. Now I'm able to move my hose around a bit without having to go remake it. So that's a really cool tool. It is here. It's this one. Oh, I wasn't recognizing it. Okay, this is really what I was looking for. This is where I can come in now and play with this a little bit. Okay, so we're on frame 1 and we're on bone 1, and now I can move bone 1 down, say a little bit. Right, and you see the whole group go. Okay, so, but it also pulls it out of its socket. Oh, this is going to be tricky. I have to be really careful what I do here. Let's see now, though, if I can just move bone 1. I'm going to move, John moves 1 frame there, and I move the hose 1 arrow key. Okay, well, it didn't like doing that, but oh, I see, it's just the single bone otherwise. Well, let's try doing the whole hose. What will it do? Um, let's just move it side arrow 1 movement. Okay, I'd really like the side arrow, guys. Okay, so there's 1 tiny jiggle, and now move it to frame 2. there. I'm going to move it into the pressure washer. Okay, he's done moving. And if it didn't come out too far, it should be great. I think. And I'm just going to get it into full screen and I'll take it. I'll take it. Cool. Love it. I think I'm definitely going to want to keep the hose moving to some degree, though, through the whole time that the water's flowing through it. This water stream's getting small. Oh, it's sun shining again. Could get his face to smile. There he goes. All right. So, yeah, I found how to get his smile turned on. So, cool. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and see about moving this guy down. I'm going to highlight on it and go to composer mode. I'm going to keep the highlighter off so that we have more resources to work. And then as soon as I click over here, then I can come over to the masking and click it. And I'm going to shave off as much as I want. Okay, and so now when I come out of here, then this is going to be that much shorter. And I think if we go to the bone editor and just uh, can click on these and delete. Okay. So now that those bones are deleted, they'll automatically be removed from the spring editor as well. So we can just close this and come on back into our picture, and you can see now we're much closer. We didn't have to go to Krita to do all of the editing. Okay, so now um, and I don't know how much of the last video I'll edit, but we attempted to use this deformation. I'm not seeing the big spring effect, so let's now save it. And that'll kind of lock that, at least that change in. And so when he makes his change there, super fast, and the hose locks right into the gun like I wanted. It didn't change anything there. We got it plugged into a new position, which I like better and looks more natural. All right, so we're saved on that. So now we're just going to go back to composer mode, or I know there's a spring editor here. I'm just not sure if this is where you should make your major changes. So it doesn't look the same. I'm going to go back to composer mode with my deal and hit on this spring editor. Yeah, see where it's white and red? So we're going to make sure that everything is included in the group. Okay, these bones seem to be there, and bone 8 is allowing me to assign to group. Okay, so the red bones, you can see it says remove from group, and the white bones, it says that I can assign them to the group. Okay, so that's what happened. It came disconnected, but assigned to group, and then just keep going. I'm going to do the end one and see if it would have automatically done the whole group. I have a feeling it was going to. Yeah, I think it just did the whole group. My bad. If you just do the end one, that's the shortcut, then it knows to assign all child bones, probably what it means. All the child bones would be all the ones in the row, or don't. Okay, my bad on that. Well, live and learn. We'll do it faster next time. But now in preview mode, we have a hose that moves again. Okay, and it wouldn't matter what bone, the whole hose moves, which is what we wanted. So let's just make sure then, if you remember, we were on bounce. We'll turn off preview. We were on bounciness of 80 and fast. And probably we'll just select it again and that should be all we need to do. Okay, that's all I wanted, just the littlest movement. Oh, when I moved it to fast, it automatically put it to the default setting. I'm going to go. Oh, excuse me. Pollen season starting up here. I get it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Glad I remembered my settings. So now we'll take it out of preview mode and we'll close it and we'll go back to stage. And it should still be all hooked up where it was. Still not seeing the dramatic movement. Well, there, it's just delayed. Okay, the movement kind of delayed, but hey, I was planning on working it into the hose. No, it's there. It's there. Yeah, I like it. It's a little seems to be a little slower for some reason, and that's fine by me, boss, because I want you to see it, and now it's front and center. Oh yes. So any view that you get is all the different camera views that you can grab and export. Right. So the timeline is on here. I will zoom him on in then and just get a good close up of stuff. Maybe move him on over. Make sure his water's all gonna still do what I want. All right, so here we go. We'll export a couple things here. So we'll render it like this, and then we'll also put it on preview again, and it'll take it right back to that other view we were working on. And this is where, at the last second, I can still decide I want to move him just a teeny bit before I render my movie. So there we go. So just so you could see that that's what I'm doing. So let's do preview first. I'm going to export 500 frames, and then I'm going to export the next one. So, and this is just going to be John pressure wash one, and then when I do the other one, I'm going to do number two. Now I'm going to start going over the top. A couple of these earlier version of John's pressure washing. All right, so this will be the first movie, and then we'll cut out here for a minute, and I'll come back with both of these videos for you. Okay, so let's take a look now. This is going to be the close-up view, I think, first. Have blown it up here and could get my sizing better. Not quite sure. Even transforming it might have deformed it a little bit. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at so far. Let's look at the other one really quick here, and then we'll get off of this. I think I need to bump it up just a tad, but nah, the bubbles are pretty good, and once the stream gets small, that was the whole point, that the bubbles would just keep disappearing. He'd get a disgusted look on his face and look at the sky and wonder what the heck he's doing solar pressure washing. Okay. All right. I'll work a lot on expressions, stuff like that. Won't probably use face puppet. I'll go through and want to do each frame of his mouth when I'm actually going to produce the episode, the short. These are going to be shorts too, like 1 minute each. Once I put all the pieces together, though, then I should be able to. It won't take me a month to create a minute. It'll take me, a day or two or three, but it won't take a month. It just depends on how many details I need for the next scene. Okay, I'd love to have the hose moving a lot more. That's gonna, and of course we haven't even started with sound effects, the sound of the water, buzz of his little solar pressure washer that will lose power. Got to figure out a way to do his meter. Perhaps he could have a meter that went in and sat on his seat when it's not on his dash, like an iPad. And then that way, when he's looking over at it in panic mode because he's losing power, I can zoom towards that and, use the other view of the cart and figure out a way that he can see his panel. That'll be another thing to figure out. Okay, so so much to do. It's so much fun. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and you're getting something out of it, and it's inspiring you to want to do your own work. So that's what this is all about. You start a career animating or do something in between. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Keep this channel going, and share it. Make some comments. Thanks so much. See you on the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. Come on back. We'll be working on lots more cool stuff. See you soon.